EAPCET aspirants. So, here we are in our last session where we are going to solve biomolecules and ecological adaptations chapter, EAPCET previous year questions. So, today it is completely questionnaire session now. Today it is completely questionnaire session. Let us check our knowledge both in biomolecules and ecological adaptations. Two chapters combinedly we are going to have this practice session. And from our next class, we will be starting up the botany 12th standard syllabus for EAPCET. Okay. So, now here you see with the first question from biomolecules. We need, this is a statement based question, we need to identify the wrong statement. Okay. So, the type of question is statement based question. Find right. Look at the question carefully, ma. Yeah. Find the wrong statements here. First, if you see polymers of polysaccharides, fats and proteins, they are synthesized from monomers by ionic bonds. Wrong. Not all are from ionic bonds. Okay. It is from covalent bonds as well. And ion-ion interactions, covalent bonds, van der Waals interactions, hydrogen-hydrogen interactions. There are many bonds that are involved like glycosidic bonds. Find right, it is not always ionic bonding. Molecules with polar heads and hydrophobic tails are present in the cell membrane. True. Left end of the protein is N-terminal end. True. Left end is N-terminal, right end will be C-terminal. Right and left handed helices are observed in a protein. Most commonly you will see right handed helices. Right handed alpha helices are the most common ones. Right, ma? Right handed alpha helices. Fine, right? So, here A and D are correct. Option D. These two are wrong statements. B and C are right. Clear right now? Next question we will move on to. Match the following type of question. See and answer it carefully. Glutamic acid first. It is only on types of amino acids. Amino acids, if you recall, we have essential, non-essential amino acids. On total 20 amino acids we have exercised. Okay. Hydrophobic, hydrophilic, that is polar, non-polar, and in that again aliphatic, aromatic amino acids, positively charged, negatively charged. Completely in our flow chart we have dealt about amino acids. Look at this carefully and answer. Glutamic acid is an acidic amino acid. Fine, right? This is an acidic amino acid. Lysine, basic amino acid. Lysine and arginine are basic amino acids. Valine is a neutral amino acid, and tyrosine, tryptophan, phenylalanine. These are what, ma? Aromatic amino acids. So, here what will be the right answer? A is 4, B will be 3, C is 2 and D is 1. Option B is the right answer. Clear till here? Any doubts anywhere, ma? Yeah. Next question you see? Yeah. Identify correct statements from the following. Again a statement based question. So, if you see the chapter biomolecules, most of the questions are statement based questions and match the following type of questions only. Look at this and answer carefully. Cotton threads are made of polymers of amino acids. Wrong. Cotton threads are made up of monomers, like cellulose is formed like from what? Glucose units, not from amino acids. Next you see the like glucosamine, amino sugars are complex polysaccharides. Wrong. Amino sugars are monosaccharides, not complex polysaccharides. Hormones are not always functional proteins. True, hormones are not always functional proteins. Acid soluble pellet from cytoplasm will have polysaccharides. Yes, there are some small molecules which can be identified, cytoplasmic constituents, those are polysaccharides, they can be obtained in acid soluble pellet as well. So, here he asked us to identify the correct set of statements. Correct set of statements here include C and D. Fine, right? Easy? Yeah. Next question you look into, ma? Yeah. Assertion, reason type of question. This is from DNA helical model. Observe, look into the question carefully and answer. Now, we will see assertion reason type of question here. In assertion, in DNA double helix, one full turn of helical strand will have 12 base pairs. No, one full turn of helical strand will be having just 10 base pairs, not 12 base pairs. Okay? The pitch of DNA helix is 34 angstroms. Pitch is what? One complete turn or helix. Okay, that is having how many base pairs? One complete turn means from here to here, right? Yeah, from here to here, one complete turn, that is one pitch will be having 34 angstroms length of DNA. Okay, so assertion is wrong, but reason is true. A is false and R is true. Option D is the right answer. Clear, right? Any doubt anywhere? Yeah. Next question. Again match the following type of question. GLUT4 is what? Glucose transporter, right, ma'am? Insulin is a hormone. Trypsin is an enzyme which digests proteins. Collagen is an intercellular substance. Fine, right? So, here what is the right matching? A will be 3, B is 1, C will be 2 and D is 4. Option A will be the right answer. Clear till here? Any doubt anywhere, ma? Yeah. Next question you look and answer. I am expecting response. Even if it is right or wrong, please try to answer. Which of the following statements is not correct on lipids? Okay, on lipids we have to now check for the incorrect statements. Glycerol is simple lipid which is a trihydroxypropane. True. Glycerol is a trihydroxypropane. Correct only. Gingerly oil remains as oil in winter months due to its high melting point. True. Fats have high melting points than oils. Lecithin is a phospholipid in cell membrane. Just look into that properly. Properly look and answer carefully. done, examined it properly. Now you see it, ma. Glycerol is simple lipid with trihydroxypropane, correct only. Look at this statement, fats have higher melting point than oils. Yes, oils will have lower melting point than fats, this is true. Lecithin is a phospholipid in cell membrane, correct. Look at statement B. Gingelly oil remains as oil in winter months due to its higher melting point. This is not correct. Okay, this melting point is less when compared, right? So oil's melting point is less, this doesn't remain as oil. Fine, right? So here what is the incorrect statement? Option B will be our answer. Option B is our answer because this is the incorrect statement. Next question, you see, we need to choose the correct statements. Mostly from biomolecules, if you look at the set of questionnaire, it will be statement based and match the following type of questions. Here you see it carefully. There are few uncatalyzed metabolic conversions in living system like protein degradation. True. Study of energy conversion in living cells is called as bioenergetics. This is correct. There are few uncatalyzed metabolic conversions in living system, like one such example is what? Protein degradation. This is one of the example for uncatalyzed conversion or uncatalyzed metabolic reaction. So here both A and B, both the statements are correct only. Next. Identify the chemical components of a nucleic acid. Very simple and easy question, try to answer. Very simple, ma. Identify the chemical components of a nucleic acid. You know, nucleic acid is nothing but what? Polymer of nucleotides, right, ma? It is a polymer of nucleotides. A single nucleotide will have nitrogen base, sugar and phosphate group. What type of nitrogen bases you can see? Purines and pyrimidines, right? Purines include adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines, cytosine, thymine and uracil. Next, when it comes to sugar, it can be ribose or deoxyribose. Fine, right. Now you see what are composed or what are the components of a nucleic acid is the question. If you observe it carefully, first you see cysteine, no, there is no role of amino acid here. Heterocyclic compounds are present because heterocyclic compounds are what? Purines. Tyrosine, there is no role of aromatic amino acid. Phosphoric acid is present. It is not ribulose, ribose that is present. Monosaccharide, yeah. So here the answer will be B, D and F. Yeah, option C will be the right answer. Clear? Any doubt anywhere, ma? Next. Again, I match the following type of question. Identify and answer carefully. I will give you 1 minute of time for each question. Identify the functions of these proteins respectively. Okay. So, first you see trypsin. Okay. Trypsin is an enzyme, right? Trypsin is an enzyme. Insulin will be a hormone, which is option D. Collagen is an intercellular ground substance, that is option C. Fine, right? Next is GLUT4, which will help in glucose transport. This acts as glucose transporter, which is option A. Taste receptor, okay, which is you can consider this as option E, and yeah. Fine. So, here if you see 1 B, 2 will be D, C, A and E. Option D will be the right answer. Clear? Any doubts anywhere? Next. Match the following type again. Deoxyribose sugar. It is a pentose sugar, right, which is option 2 here. Lipids, example you can take glycerol. Polymeric substances, example you can take gums. Polypeptides, example trypsin. Fine, right. So, what will be the right answer over here, ma? A is 2, B will be 4, C is 1 and D is 3. Option A will be the right answer. Next question. Again a match the following type of question, try to answer. Here options are not provided, directly you answer. First, glycerol, whose IUPAC name is what? Trihydroxypropane. Aromatic amino acid, tryptophan. Lecithin is a phospholipid. See about lecithin 2 times asked. Gingelly oil will have lower melting point, also mentioned previously in a statement based question. So, here what will be the right match, ma? A will be option 3, B 4, C 1, D is 2. Fine, right? Any doubt still here? Yeah. Next question, assertion reason type of question. Look into that carefully and answer. First, in assertion, lipids are separated into acid insoluble fraction along with other polymeric substances. True. Cell membranes are composed of lipids and not water soluble. Yes, lipids are not water soluble. Hence, from vesicles along with acid insoluble, hence they form vesicles along with acid insoluble pool. So, here it is a proper explanation on how and why lipids are obtained in acid insoluble fraction. Reason is clearly explaining the assertion, why lipids are obtained in acid insoluble fraction. So, here what will be the right answer? A and R is true. R is the correct explanation of A. Reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Next, what is inulin? What is inulin? Look at this question. Inulin is a polymer of fructose, right? which is a direct liner from your text. Don't get confused between inulin and insulin. Insulin will be a hormone. Inulin is a polymer of fructose. Next. So, inulin is clear. This question. Again a statement based question. We need to choose the correct statement. Carefully answer, ma. All the elements present in earth crust are also present in living tissue. True. Oils have higher melting point and hence oils there as oils in winter round. They will have low melting point. Proteins act as receptors in various organs. True. Cellulose and abrin are secondary metabolites which are useful for polymeric substances. Look into that carefully. Yeah. So, here if you see properly, statement 4, that is statement D, cellulose and abrin both he is saying they are secondary metabolites. No, abrin is a secondary metabolite but not cellulose. Cellulose is a primary metabolite. So, D will be wrong. So, choose the correct statements, right. What are the correct statements over here? A and C are the right statements. Option will be A. Clear, ma, everybody? Any doubts anywhere? Yeah. Next question. Here we go. Match the following structures with their correct names. Structures with their correct names. Carefully see and answer. Done. Done, ma. So, here you see amino acid with 2 carboxyl groups. 2 carboxyl groups is an acidic amino acid. So, it will be glutamic acid, which is option 4 over here. Next, 3 carbon groups, OK, and OH groups are also present, which is glycerol, that is option 3. Fine, right. Next, here C will be, this will be serine, fatty acid, right. Total 18 carbons are present. So, this is a fatty acid with RH, RCOOH is the common formula. Fine, right, now. So, here what is the right option? A4, B3, C1 and D2. Option B is the right answer. Clear till here? Any doubt anywhere, ma? Yeah. Next question. Assertion, reason, type again. Starch can hold iodine molecules, whereas cellulose cannot hold iodine molecules. True, because starch has complex bonds in between them. okay, branched linkages are present, whereas cellulose cannot hold iodine because it does not have a strong bonds. Okay, so assertion is true. Cellulose forms helical secondary structure, whereas starch does not contain complex helices. Wrong. Starch contains complex helices. Cellulose does not have the helical structures. So here assertion is true and reason is false. Option C will be the right answer. Clear, ma? Option C is the right answer over here. With this, biomolecules chapter is done. Now we will go to the practice session of ecological adaptations. Look at the first question. The question is from xerophytes. Identify the plants in the order of ephemeral, succulents and non-succulents. Ephemerals, you can take the example of tribulus. Succulent, of course, aloe vera. Non-succulents are casuarina. Fine, right? Ephemerals which are short-lived. Tribulus, succulents and non-succulents which are stress tolerant casuarina, which is option B. Right, ma? Next question. Assertion, reason, type again. The growth of cultivated crop is good in mesophytic condition. Growth of cultivated crop is good in mesophytic condition. True. An unbalanced condition of water and gases exists in soil where water is abundant or scarce. This condition is not applicable to what? Mesophytic. Right? Assertion is true and reason is false. Next question. Assertion, reason, type again. Xerophytes will possess modified plant organs to minimize water loss due to transpiration. True. Plants that grow under water deficit condition develop fleshy plant parts and reduce leaves. True. Both assertion and reason are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Next question. Identify free floating hydrophytes. We have 5 types of hydrophytes, right? Free floating, submerged, suspended, submerged, rooted. Okay, as such we have 5 types. So, free floating hydrophyte, here the example is lemma. Hydrilla and utricularia are the examples for submerged suspended hydrophytes. Fine, right? Submerged suspended hydrophytes. Vallisneria is submerged rooted hydrophyte. Fine. Next question. Three characteristics were given. Looking at that 3 characteristics, we have to identify the plants. Firstly, sunken stomata is seen in xerophytes. Poorly developed mechanical tissue observed in hydrophytes. Plants with mucilage are seen in succulents. observe it clearly. First, sunken stomata, poorly developed mechanical tissue, hydrilla, plants with mucilage, aloe vera. Sunken stomata observed in Casuarina. So, here the right, which are stress tolerance, right, non-succulents. Right answer will be option A. Next, look at this statement based question. Choose the correct statements. In total ecosystem services, soil formation accounts 50%. Look at the second statement. During succession, some species colonize on area and their population increases, but other species will disappear. True. In many desert plants, camp pathway enables stomata to close during daytime. True. In hydrophytes, long, slender and flexible stems are not found. They are found. Long, slender, flexible stems are found in hydrophytes. Okay. In total ecosystem services, soil formation will account 50%. True. So, it is A, B and C. Fine, right, ma? Any doubts anywhere? Next, look at this, match the following. Submerged rooted hydrophytes, Vallisneria, which is option 5. Next, submerged suspended hydrilla will be the example, option 1. Okay. Next, free floating hydrophytes, you can take the example, that is Salvinia. Rooted hydrophytes with floating leaves will be Victoria regia, that is option 3. Fine, right. So, A 5, B 3, C 2 and D is 1. Option B is the right answer. Next question, choose the correct statement. The total annual account of wet organic matter of forest can be estimated with the annual net productivity amount of standing forest. True. Ecosystems also exert direct physical influence that helps to moderate regional and local weather. True. So, both A and B are correct over here. Next, choose the incorrect statements. Find right. In mesophytes, unless the habitat is specialized, there is no adaptation required or necessary. Correct only. Warming, a British botanist classified plant communities as 3 ecological groups based on dependence of water. It is Eugene warming. Fine, right. So, we can consider this as a true statement only. Due to flooding destroyed lands, the primary succession occurs more faster. No, it is secondary succession, not primary succession. In hydrophytes, the multi-layered epidermis will be useful in absorbing only water from surrounding snow. Multi-layered epidermis is not seen in hydrophytes. Multi-layered epidermis is observed in plants like Nerium. Fine, right. So, here A and B are correct. Asked us incorrect statements, right. So, the answer will be C and D. Next question. How many mature trees are required to support oxygen supply to 42,000 people every year? Okay. How much amount of oxygen is required? One mature tree can supply oxygen for 2 individuals, okay, for 2 people or 2 persons per year. 2 persons per year. This is the average calculation. One mature tree can provide oxygen for how many individuals, ma? 2 individuals. That is an average calculation. Fine, right? 42,000 people require how many mature trees? You just do 42,000 by 2. It will be 21,000. Option D will be the right answer. Clear? Any doubt till here, ma? Clear, right? Next question. The term ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tansley, right? Option D. Very simple question. Next. Statement based again. Direct statements from your text. Choose the correct statements. During succession, same species colonize an area, whereas populations of other species decline. Both excessive water and dryness will create uniform situation to plant survive? No. The rotation of our planet around the axis, around the sun and its axis, cause distinct seasons, correct? Plants growing in water condition possess well developed root system for good absorption. Fine. If you observe this carefully, plants growing in water conditions possess well developed root system for good absorption. True. Option C will be the right answer. Next, we need to identify incorrect statements. Pollinators play significant role in production of food crops. True. One of the threats of pollinators is habitat destruction by land use, correct? The climax community remains stable as long as the environment is changing with adaptations. No. At climax community, environment will not change and there will not be any adaptations. Secondary succession will be slow process compared to primary succession. Wrong. Primary succession is slower than the secondary succession. So, it is option C and D are incorrect, okay, which is option A. Next. Roots fixed with mud with long petioles that you will be seeing in submerged suspended hydrophytes. Roots fixed with mud, they will have long petioles, right? So, just look at that properly. Look at it properly and answer. I am expecting responses. Done. Done, ma. So, first you see roots fixed with mud, with long petioles, submerged suspended, hydrilla, option E. Leaves partially in water and partly in air. Speaking about amphibious plants. Amphibious plants, here it will be C, that is Casuarina. Annual and found in rhizomes, completes life cycle in short period. It is tribulus, this completes life cycle in short period. Root hairs and root caps are well developed in Victoria regia. These are not present in hydrophytes, root caps. Fine, right? It is in Victoria regia. So, here what will be the right answer? E, C, B and D. Fine, right? Which is option B. Any doubts anywhere, ma? Now, look at this, again a statement based question. One of the following statements is not true with reference to successive serial stages, not true with successive serial stages. There is a change in diversity of species of organism, there is a decrease in total biomass, the number of species and organisms are increased. Change in diversity, number of species will be increased, there is an increase in total biomass, there is not decrease in total biomass, it is total biomass will be increased, not decreased. Next, assertion reason type of question. Soil is major factor for establishment of biotic community and it takes several hundred to thousand years to produce fertile soil on a bark rock, on a bare rock. Okay, it requires hundreds to thousands of years to produce a fertile soil on the bare rock. True. Next, lichens secrete acids to dissolve rocks for soil formation. True. Both A and R are correct, but R is not correctly explaining the A assertion. Option B is right. So, till here we are done with what? EAPCET questionnaire practice of both the chapters Biomolecules and Ecological Adaptations. Tomorrow we will be starting with a new chapter. Okay, 11th text of botany are done in our EAPCET playlist totally, and we are going to start with 12th from tomorrow. Okay, so if you are having any doubts till here, any queries, feel free to drop a message in the chat box regarding subject, it will be answered for sure. Okay, so that's all for today's session, ma. Thank you.